Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. This video is going to be about staying in the victim category or the victim status. One of the things that's really tough, and it's a really easy trap to get into on this, is whenever we look at the situation, we get stuck in the validation mode of everything that's happened to us and what the person has done to us and what we've lost, and we stay in that mode. Now, a lot of times, most of us come from backgrounds where we've had a lot of trauma and a lot of chaos in our lives, which also means, unfortunately, that there's a good possibility that you maybe subconsciously enjoy that. Maybe enjoy is not the right word, but that you're comfortable in the chaos. You're comfortable when things are a mess. The hard part about this is whenever you're going through this breakup in this relationship, you can really get fixated on that. And then what you end up doing is you replace the way you were feeling or the trauma that you were feeling when you were in the midst of that relationship, and you basically refocus it onto this victim status of everything that's happened to you. Now, I'm not discounting anything that's happened to you, and all of this is traumatic, but the problem is that whenever you get stuck in this mode to where you're constantly reliving this past trauma and you're going through it over and over and over again. And I understand, because oftentimes when we're in that mode, you're doing that because you're still trying to prove to yourself, not prove to yourself, but you're still trying to go through this situation to where you're proving to yourself that it actually happened, that it was real, that this experience really did happen. What did happen, what did happen is true. And I know for me, I went through a stage where I was constantly talking to people about it. I was reliving it. And a lot of it was just like, this is so messed up that it can't be true. And I'm basically saying it again and again and again to remind myself of what happened. All of us are going to go through this, so I'm not discounting this phase of the process, but there's a point to where you get stuck in that mode. It's like this infinite do loop to where you just can't get out of it. And full disclosure, I was trapped in that mode for a couple of years. I wanted out of that mode and I just couldn't find a way out of it. And the problem is, it's really hard to break that cycle. It's really hard to go through that and get to the point where you finally say, you know what? I've had enough. I really don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to feel this way anymore. I don't want to be thinking about the other person anymore. I don't want to be trapped in this. I want my life back. Now, even with what I was talking about in my situation, I was going through that where I was having those epiphanies where I didn't want to do this anymore, but I couldn't stop myself. I just couldn't break that cycle. I know in other videos I've talked about the different things I've done, and if I can find it, I'll link to the card up above on a video where I talk specifically about my path through this. And I mean, just real quickly, I mean, it was a combination of therapy, reading, YouTube videos, hypnosis files, all that stuff together. And finally, I started to have some breakthroughs, but it was a very painful process. But the point of this is that you want to get yourself out of that victim status, that victim mentality as quickly as possible, because that's really what starts pivoting what you're thinking about and what you're looking at to really get your life back. And what I mean is that whenever we're constantly focused on what happened, when we're focused on the experience that we had and we keep reliving it, we're trapped with the person. We're still connected to the person. We can't break free from that. As soon as you get to the point that you can start putting less energy towards them and more towards yourself and your own healing and your own growth, that's when things really start to change. And it's not an easy task to get to. It's really not easy. And I'm sorry that you're going through this, but the good part about this is as you work through this and you really make strides on this, you start thinking about, or you stop thinking about the ex as often. Their influence on your life really starts to diminish. And then what happens is when things do happen with them, or they do try to do things, or maybe they take you back to court or whatever it is, it's not going to be as traumatic as it was in the past whenever you still felt or were still in that mode to where you were thinking of yourself as a victim to that person, that they were, corrupting your life and destroying everything and interfering with a positive future that you could have. Yes, they have an impact. I'm not diminishing the fact that they do have an impact in your life. I mean, that's legitimate and that's real, but they don't have to dominate every aspect of your life going forward. So on that, what as you start to make that pivot, as you start to change your focus and you start working on yourself and you start realizing that there is hope for your future, that there is hope for a better tomorrow, effectively, then you can start working on things that really start to transform your life. I've talked often that in a lot of ways, nothing has changed. The ex still plays the same stupid games. I have some videos I'm going to try to make in the next couple of weeks to cover some specifics on that. And it's not that they're going to change, because they're not. I mean, yes, they have the capability to change if they ever decided. They have that free will to do that. But statistically speaking, and more than likely, they're in this mode, they're going to stay in this mode, and there's nothing you're really going to be able to do about it, which means they're going to continue to wreak havoc on your life. They're going to still try to insert themselves and try to push your buttons and all that stuff. And what's going to happen ultimately is you're going to get to the point where they're not going to be able to do it. You'll put up with it. You'll play nice whenever you need to, like I had to do the other day. I mean, just small story. I was taking my daughter to help her go get her prom outfit because, well, that's a whole nother story. But, the ex actually walked outside to talk to me while I was in the car. And I was just thinking, are you kidding me? And, I mean, it's always something. They're always going to find ways to try to push your buttons, which is, I mean, realistically, it is what it is. And like I said, I'll make another video on that. But I just wanted to hit this because you can find yourself getting in this comfort mode with the chaos and with the victim status, and that's a normal process, right? I'm not saying, oh my God, you're a bad person because you're going down this path. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is if you can recognize what I'm saying and you can look at it and go, huh, yeah, damn it, I'm actually doing that, then you can start thinking about it and start, put that little seed in your mind to start saying, okay, you know what? I've been there. I've done that. It's time to find a way to move forward with this. And part of that is just getting that mindset or that idea into your mind so that you can have that shift of mindset to get there. So that's the thing I want to talk about on this. And yeah, hopefully you're doing okay. Hopefully this video was helpful. If you think it was, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so. And I will chat with you on the next video. Take care. Bye.